Oh, I dropped my ciggy. Oh my God. Dropped my ciggy. Hello, everybody. This is Matty Ramone here. From the Ramones. And I'm a damn punk. That's what I am, a punk. Are you a punk? I'm a punk. Oh, folks, how long can I keep this up? By the way, this is just a prop. I do not smoke, never have, never will. Don't smoke. All right, this is uncomfortable. Cigarette's gone. Toilet seat's coming off. Oh, my God. Toilet seat off the head. What am I wearing this silly thing for? Oh, my goodness gracious me. Matty Ramone here. My hair's all messed up here. I don't have much, but you know what? When it looks all messy like that, gotta cover it. How y'all doing? It's Matt Street. Welcome to my channel. Surely happy you're here. Got my faux leather Hamburg, Beatles Hamburg, live at the Star Club, live at the Cavern jacket on. I got my Beatles Ramones style t-shirt on. I'm all set because why am I doing this video? Well, who remembers the punk rock scene, rock and roll scene in the Lower East Side, Manhattan, New York City, back in the 70s? Well, folks, I am here today to connect that to the Beatles. Yes, I am. You know why? Because, folks, the Beatles were punk rock before the term punk rock was even phrased or coined, okay? The Beatles were punk. Don't argue with me. They were punk, all right? I'm telling you right now, when you think back to the Beatles, pre-Brian Epstein, Beatles, pre-suits and ties, the Beatles, dressed up in their leather days, their leather suits, either leather jackets with blue jeans, collars up, cigarettes hanging out of their mouth, and go back to those days, pre-fame, okay, when they were playing the clubs, the Cavern, the Star Club in Germany, all right? The Beatles were punk even before punk, all right? The Rolling Stones were pikers. The Rolling Stones were choir boys compared to the Beatles pre-Brian Epstein back in their club rockin' days. The Beatles were punk rock, all right? Don't argue with me. Okay, folks, the Beatles were. And the reason I'm doing this video today, because a loyal viewer, subscriber of mine by the name of Nanky Poo, Nankypooh, Nanky Poo. He's a great viewer, great loyal subscriber. I appreciate it. And Nanky Poo was writing to me a little bit back and forth about that video I did a couple back about the three CBGB style albums I was showing, and we were talking back and forth about the Beatles being punk rock before there was a punk rock, and I agreed with him. I said, yeah, damn right, they were punk rock. I agree. I mean, when you go back to those days, and you think of the 50s leather greaser look they had, okay? You know, this kind of look, or the look I'm going to put probably in the thumbnail. This is a great book, by the way, by Gareth Pulowski. Came back many years ago. A definitive history of the Beatles' early years, how they became the Beatles. Folks, this is a fabulous book if you can still find it. Gareth Pulowski. Great, great book. Wonderful pictures in here of the early Beatles. You know, it's just fabulous. Can't show it to you now. But an example, it talks about that early period of the Beatles. And you have recordings like 1977's live at the Star Club in Germany. Or if you want to get more fan club related, you can get stuff like the Beatles live at the Star Club, the executive version, which is very complete and some of the best sound ever on these tapes. And then you have stuff like just Zu Laut, which is too loud in Germany, live at the Star Club Hamburg CD, Zu Laut. Okay, that's a great one. And they vary in quality, but they've really improved over the years. And when you think of that period of time for the Beatles, 50s leather gear, outrageous antics on stage. I mean, they were drunk on stage half the time, toilet seats, hence my toilet seat sample earlier, toilet seats around the neck, especially on John Lennon. Oh my goodness, goose stepping on the stage, you know, doing the old goose step thing on the stage in front of the Germans, making fun of the Germans, mocking them, Just funny stuff. Physical altercations with members of the audience. The Beatles fighting with members of the audience and audience fighting with them. Spitting at the audience spitting at them. Drunken patrons, throwing stuff at them and them throwing it right back at them. Oh my God. Fueled by booze and pills, prellies, whatever you want to call it, verbal assaulting back and forth. Oh my goodness, they take it, like I said, they're popping these pills to stay awake to play for hour after hour. They're in their sleep bunks burning condoms on the wall and getting arrested. Staying in these stinky, crappy rooms so funky and so dirty that they make the bathrooms at the old CBGBs look like a palace. That's how bad their facilities were where they were staying at. And they're getting locked up and they're burning things and they're drunk and they're taking pills and they're you got the hookers and strippers are their companions. I mean, is that not punk rock or what? It's punk rock, okay? The Beatles were punk before they cleaned up their act, all right? Don't argue with me. Anyway, folks. Now let's talk about the performances a little bit. Like I said, you got stuff like the Star Club and the different fan club only issues you can get. Now, a lot of you are probably turned off by these things because you say, oh, sonically, they sound terrible. It's just not good. I don't want to listen to it. But you need to block out the poor fidelity. Block that out of your head and listen to what the Beatles are doing on these tapes. Okay, listen to what they're doing. Don't worry about sound quality or, oh, I wish it sounded better. Just listen to the essence of what they're doing, how they're singing, how they're playing, the environment, the vibe, the atmosphere. Folks, it is punk rock. The Beatles are playing punk rock because they're playing this hard-driving, machine gun, especially on the fast-paced songs. They do play a couple of ballads here and there, but for the most part, the hard-driving, fast-paced, breakneck speed, in between swearing at the audience, that on some of the songs, especially John. John is killer on his rhythm guitar. I mean, Johnny Ramone was clearly influenced by what John's doing on his rhythm guitar on the Star Club tapes. I mean, it's obvious, that machine gun, pace. I mean, John is on fire. Paul's bass is just pounding and banging and loud. George is doing his guitar fills with this fury and passion. And you got Ringo is on fire. Listen to Ringo's drums. He is just banging it out and just on some of the songs. And it's just unbelievable, folks. It is so good. And like I said, it's some fun. If you can get the Star Club from 77 is so limited, but watered down. But you've got to get like some of these fan club only issues, like the executive version of the Star Club tapes or Zool Out from the Star Club tapes, because this shows what really was going on there. I mean, I'm talking, like I said, the profanity, cussing out the audience. At one point during the song where they shimmy, shimmy, they're singing shitty, shitty. They don't care. They're swearing during the songs. They're telling people to shut up right in the middle of songs. You got Paul singing ballads like Till There Was You or A Taste of Honey, and you can hear the crowd talking and John screaming at them right in the middle of the song, like, shut up, just stop talking. It's just unbelievable. And I mean, John is so funny on these tapes. There's one part, it's right at the end of Kansas City, which they just do a furious version of Kansas City, and John goes, then there's this guy leading up to that, like 2 or 3 songs before Kansas City. The guy keeps yelling, hence the title of this album, Zool Out! Zool Out! Like he's probably trying to pick up some girl, or, he's busy yapping to his friends or whatever. And the Beatles are loud, and they're cranking, and they're rocking out. And he keeps yelling, Zool Out! Zool Out! You're too loud. Like, turn it down. And John keeps yelling at him, shut up, shut up. Finally, John's had enough. And at the end of Kansas City, when the guy yells Zool Out one too many times, John just screams at him through the mic, shut up, will you daft bastard? It's so darn funny, folks. It's just, these guys were punk rockers, man. They were killing it. They were just on fire. And it's so personified in what they're doing here. It's just, and I really hope there's talk about Peter Jackson eventually getting a hold of these things and doing some of his miracle with his technology, sound separation, and making them come to life a little more. I sure hope so. I hope he can clean them up. I hope they're officially released. Fix that poor fidelity. Bring it up a little bit into a more listenable fashion. And I think people would go nuts for this stuff, because this is the raw rockin' Beatles. It's unbelievable, folks, what they're doing, how they're playing, the fury, the passion, the intensity. It's here. It's when they're playing at the Star Club, when they're playing at the Cavern during this period, pre-Brian Epstein, before this, before the suits, they were this, all right? They were leather. They were jeans and boots and cowboy boots and smoking, and it just was unbelievable. And so I just wanted to reiterate that I don't know what you all think. You want to give me your opinion, you can, but I'm sorry. If you disagree with me, I'm going to respectfully disagree right back at you. The Beatles were punk rock before there was a punk rock. They were dirtier and nastier than the Stones would ever be or hope to be. The Beatles lived it, okay? They were the true original bad boys of rock and roll, all right? So that's my take on it. So I'm going to go back to putting, maybe my toilet seat on my head here and, get the old ciggy. Don't have any prellies. Sorry. That's it, folks. Just have a little fun with you. The Beatles, the original punks. Love you all. Bye-bye.